everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Beula Thomas. In today's video, I'm taking you into my kitchen and we are gonna cook 4 different delicious, healthy, kid-friendly, family-friendly recipes in my Instant Pot. I know a lot of you probably already own the Instant Pot or you might have heard of it and are considering buying it. So my goal in this video is to show how you can use the different settings in the Instant Pot and make delicious family-friendly meals for your family during the week. Now, if you are a working parent like I am, the last thing that you want to do after a long day of work is to spend 2 to 3 hours cooking, right? So I'm going to show you how easily you can make a one-pot meal for your family so that you're not just spending hours together in your kitchen. So we're cooking 4 recipes. 2 are vegetarian, 2 are non-vegetarian, just so we can cater to our non-vegetarian and vegetarian viewers. If you don't own an Instant Pot, don't skip this video because while we're cooking, I'm going to tell you the alternatives of how you can make the recipe in a traditional pressure cooker or a saute pan. All right. Before we get into this video, I just want to welcome and say a big hello to all of my new subscribers this week. Thank you so much for hitting that subscribe button. I really hope you enjoy this video too. All right, let's get started with the cooking. First up, we're going to make dal or lentil curry, which is our son's favorite curry that I make almost every single week. So let's have a quick look at the ingredients and then we'll get started. For this recipe, I'm using 1 cup of tur dal or lentils. You can get these in an Indian store and sometimes even supermarkets sell them. I'm also using 1 onion, which I've diced, 1 green chili. This is totally optional if you can't handle spice. Then we've got our ginger and garlic paste. I'm going to use a teaspoon of both of that, 500 mils of water. And then we've got our spices here, which is turmeric and coriander. I'm going to use a teaspoon of each. We also have some salt, and now for the tadka, which is an Indian cooking technique of tempering spices in oil. I've got some mustard seeds, cumin seeds, some curry leaves which I've dried up, and also some hing. And I'm going to use ghee for the tempering, but first we're going to cook the dal and then I'll get into this step and I'll show you how I do it. Along with making dal today, we are going to also cook some rice. The rice that I'm using is mata rice, which as you can see is red in color. It has more fiber when compared to white rice. It does take a bit more time to cook, so I'm going to use a pressure cooker setting in my Instant Pot to cook it. So I've got 1.5 cups of rice here. First thing to do is to wash the lentils and the rice. The reason for washing is just hygiene. No one wants to break a tooth by biting into a rock in your lentils, and washing your rice removes the excess starch. It also removes dirt, dust, or even bugs. So here we have washed it and I've poured in about 3 to 3.5 cups of water in the rice, and the lentils have been washed and drained. All right, let's get started. Let's have a quick look at the settings on the Instant Pot. So today we're going to use the pressure cooker setting for cooking this dal. We can also saute. As you can see, you can cook rice or porridge. You can steam your veggies, make some yogurt, or even idli or dosa batter, or slow cook. So many different options. All right, this is the inside of the Instant Pot, and we're first going to add in our washed lentils. After that, we're going to add in our onions. So this recipe, I'm not sauteing anything. This is real easy, perfect if you have a young family. Let's add in the ginger and garlic paste next, so about a teaspoon of each. Next, I'm going to add in the spices. So I've got a teaspoon of coriander, and then I'm going to add in a teaspoon of turmeric powder. You can also add chili powder if you like, but I'm just skipping it for the kids. Next, I'm adding in some salt, and then finally, let's pour in 500 mils of water. Next, moving on to the rice, the Instant Pot gives you the steamer rack thing, which I'm going to use. So I'm going to put the bowl of the washed rice, which has been soaking in the water, onto it, and then I'm just going to pop this into the Instant Pot. As you can see, I'm using a stainless steel pot. You can't use glass or you can't use plastic. Let's give this whole thing a good mix, and then we're going to transfer the pot of rice into it. Alright, so we've got the lid on here and we're going to turn on the pressure cooking setting. We're going with about 20 minutes because that gives it enough time for both the dal and the rice to cook. Alright, it's now done and I'm going to let the steam to release on its own. While that's happening, we're going to make the tadka. So here I've got some ghee. It's homemade ghee. It's rock solid because it's winter here. If you haven't made it, you definitely need to give it a try. And these are the ingredients that I'm going to use. So I've melted the ghee up and I'm adding some mustard seeds. It's all bubbly, so make sure the heat is on low. Next, I'm adding some cumin seeds, and finally I'll add in some dried curry leaves. You can use fresh curry leaves as well, so whatever you've got on hand, just add it in. Finally, adding the hing, which you just squeeze out of the container, and then give it all a good stir, and that's pretty much it. Alright, when you open your Instant Pot, make sure it's on to venting, and then let's just open the lid and take a closer look. Carefully remove the rice from the Instant Pot. As you can see, it's definitely cooked beautifully. Let me just grab a spoon so we can fluff it up a little bit and have a closer look. I'm giving the dal a quick stir, and then we shall pour in the tempered ghee with all of the delicious smelling spices, and that pretty much is the recipe. How easy was that? It is so full of flavor, especially with that ghee. So what I'm doing here is I want to get every single bit out of that pot. So I just add a little bit of dal and then scrape it all out. And let's give it a nice good mix. And there you have it, a very delicious, comforting dal curry or lentil curry that you can make in your Instant Pot. It's perfect for a weeknight dinner. You can serve it with rice or roti. Next, we've got a chicken burrito rice bowl. It's a perfect weeknight dinner that is full of delicious flavor. Let's first look at all the ingredients that we're going to use. So I've got one large chicken breast that I've diced up here. So you just need one large one. You can use two if you need to. I'm also using rice. So I've got about 1 cup of long grain rice, an onion, a medium-sized onion, which I've diced up. We need some olive oil. And when it comes to spices, I've got some chili powder, and then I've got some cumin powder, salt and pepper in the back. I'm going to use some chicken stock for this recipe. If you're going to make it vegetarian, make it vegetable stock. Also got some garlic paste, some salsa, a cup of frozen corn, and I'm also using a can of black beans, which I'm going to drain and rinse. We're going to start this recipe off with a saute setting, so let's turn that on first, and then I'm going to pour in about a 1.5 tablespoon of olive oil. You can use any oil, but I'm just choosing to do olive oil today, and then we're going to add the onion and the garlic to cook. So we're adding in the onion and the garlic, and we're going to cook it. We're going to stir it occasionally so that it cooks until it has softened, and this will take about 4 minutes. Next, we're going to add in the spice, so about 1 tablespoon of chili powder and then 1.5 teaspoons of ground cumin powder. So let's just add that in, and we'll stir it through so that it'll cook until it's fragrant. So that takes about 30 seconds. Add a 1/4 cup of the chicken broth, and we let it continue to cook, gently scraping the bottom of the pot with our wooden spoon here so that we can loosen any of the stuck on bits, and we're going to let it simmer for about 1 minute. While it's simmering, we're now going to season the chicken all over with some salt and pepper. We're just going to add it on and then give it a quick toss before adding it into the Instant Pot. Once we've added in the chicken, we're going to add the rest of the ingredients, which is the black beans, which we have drained and also rinsed. We're also going to add in the frozen corn and then the salsa, and then we're going to stir it all of it together to combine. Next, we are adding in the rice that's washed. As I mentioned before, always wash your rice, and we're going to spread it over the top of this chicken and bean corn mixture that's cooking. And then after that, I'm going to pour in the remaining 3/4 cup of broth over the rice. All right, so we're not going to stir at this point. We're just going to make sure we've spread the rice out really well, and then we're going to let it cook in the pressure cooker setting. Close and lock the lid, and then we're just pressing the cancel button first to cancel the saute setting. Turn on the pressure cooker mode for about 10 to 12 minutes is all that you need. So I'm setting it up to 10 minutes here, and then we let it cook. Now that the cooking time is complete, we're going to do a quick release of the pressure. We're not going to let the slow cooker do its job of slowly releasing it. Just turn the vessel over to venting, and that's it. Let's open it up and have a quick look. Gently stir everything together, and then we're going to divide it between bowls, and we're going to top it off with some grated cheese and coriander. Now, if you want to make this recipe but you don't have a Instant Pot, you could definitely make this over the stove top. It might just take a little bit longer, but I think it'll turn out just great. Here is another easy one-pot mince pasta dish that my 10-year-old made the other day. So let's quickly go through the ingredients first and then get started with the cooking. So you need 1 onion diced. I'm using red onion for this recipe. Along with that, we've got about 50 grams of mince or a mince substitute depending on your dietary requirements, grated cheese for the very end, some pasta, and a whole jar of passata sauce, salt and pepper, and olive oil. That's pretty much it. All right, we're going to turn on the saute mode first, and we're going to add in some oil. Once the oil is heated, I'm adding in the diced onions, and we're going to saute until it has softened. While the onions were sauteing, I decided to add in some garlic. So I'm going to use 2 cloves of garlic because everything tastes better with garlic, right? So make sure you do that. A quick note about the tomato sauce here: make sure you find something with real ingredients and that it's not loaded with sugar. So I'm just doing a quick rough mash and chop, and I'm going to add it to the Instant Pot because, you know, when we turn on the pressure cooker setting and we're going to cook it all together, the garlic will cook down really, really well. As we add in the garlic, we're also going to add in the mince. Now, if you don't want to use mince like meat mince, you can also use lentils. Just a can of lentils will do, or any other substitute. And I'm just using my spatula here. I'm going to break down the mince so that it can cook through evenly. Next, let's season it with some salt and pepper. Next, we're going to add in the passata sauce. Now, if you don't have this particular brand in your country, I'm pretty sure there'll be some options which has the right ingredients. So when you go to the supermarket the next time, make sure you take the jar, flip it to the back, and have a read through of the ingredients. Pour a little water and give it a good shake so you can get everything out of that jar. Now we're just gonna give it a nice good stir, and then it's time to add in the pasta. I love these little lasagna style pasta. I just got it from our supermarket. They're quite cute, but you can add any type of pasta that you or your kids like. This, I'm using almost a bag of pasta in this. You can, again, depending on the quantity of meat that you're using, I use 500 grams, but depending on the quantity that you're using for this recipe, you can just eyeball the quantity and then add it into your pot. We're gonna give it a good stir, and then it's time to close the Instant Pot. If you feel like your pasta dish needs a little bit more sauce, you can add in a little bit of water, stock, or even more pasta sauce. All right, let's put the lid on. And now we're going to change the setting from saute to pressure cooker mode. So I'm just hitting the cancel button, turn on the pressure cooker, and we're going to put the time for about 7 minutes. I just needed 5 to 7 minutes and dinner was ready. All right, the pasta is cooked just right and it smells amazing. I really wish you could smell it through this YouTube video. It was just divine. Now let's add in the cheese, and we're gonna give it one final mix, and that's it. Your delicious dinner is done. You can pair this one pot pasta meal with some garlic bread, maybe even a salad, and you will get a very filling, delicious meal. Finally, we've got an Arabic lentil soup that we're going to make in the Instant Pot today. As you can see, very limited ingredients, so let's quickly run through it. So I'm going to use 1 1/4 cups of red lentils, which I washed here. You can find this at the supermarket or any Asian store. Got garlic, onion, potatoes, and carrots. These are going to be our vegetables that's going to make up the soup. And then right in the back, we've got some olive oil that we're going to use to saute first, some cumin powder, some stock. I'm using vegetable stock. You can use chicken stock if you prefer, some salt, and then we're also going to use some boiling water. So that's pretty much all the ingredients that you need to make this delicious soup. So let's get started by chopping up the veggies. Now, for those who don't have an Instant Pot just yet, you can make this exact same recipe in a traditional pressure cooker, or you can just use a soup pot and cook it over the stovetop. So it's really easy to cook over the stovetop in just a regular pot. The lentils that we're using, the red lentils, cook up really fast and well over the stovetop. So if you don't have the Instant Pot yet and you really want to make this recipe, you can definitely give it a try. Alright, we've got all of the ingredients chopped up and ready to go. So I'm turning on the saute mode first because we need to cook up the veggies first, and then we're going to flip it to the pressure cooker mode. So let's add in some oil into the pot. About 4 tablespoons of oil is what they asked, but you can add in about 2 tablespoons. That should be fine. And then we're going to add in the diced up onions, and then we're just going to go through the rest of the ingredients. So the carrots, the potatoes, the garlic, and then we're going to saute it for a few minutes. Once the onions have softened a bit, it's time to add in the potatoes and the carrots. I also must add that sometimes people make this soup without the potatoes. So if you're worried about all the carb content in it, you can totally skip out the veggies and just make it a plain lentil soup. Alright, I'm adding in the cumin powder, and it's about 1/2 teaspoon of cumin powder and 1 teaspoon of salt, and let's give it a good mix. In goes the lentils, so 1¼ cups of red lentils, which I washed and drained. Then we're going to add in about 2 cups of stock, so chicken, meat or vegetable stock. I used vegetable stock in here, followed by we're going to add about 4 to 5 cups of boiling water into this pot, and that's pretty much it. So now I'm turning on the pressure cooker mode and setting it for 20 minutes, and it's just going to pressure cook the whole thing, and then our soup will be ready. So let's put the lid on it and walk away. Alright, time to do a little quick unboxing with you. I've got this little stick mixer that Kingsley bought for me so I can use it for my soup recipes. So I thought I would pull it out while I make this lentil soup and open it up with you. This is a Westinghouse brand. I'm sure it's a great brand. I think it is. And we're going to see how it's going to work for us, and if it's going to do the job, you'll see in a few minutes. Make sure the steam has released fully, so I let it take its time to do the release of the steam and the pressure, and then we opened the pot and it smelled delicious. So I gave it a quick stir, and then I used my stick mixer to blend it up. Just a quick tip, because it's really hot, make sure the stick blender is all the way to the bottom, because you don't want the soup to just sort of like splash back at you. Looks like the stick mixer has done its job, because it has a nice creamy consistency, seasoned with salt right about now if needed, and now it's ready to serve. This soup is really filling and full of flavor, and you can serve it alongside some fried pita bread, or oven toasted pita bread is just delicious. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed those 4 recipes. If you did, I would love to know which recipe that you really enjoyed and which one you're gonna try. If you have a favorite Instant Pot recipe that you would like to recommend to me to try, please let me know in the comment section below as well, because I'm always looking for new recipes to try in my Instant Pot. If you've enjoyed this video, I would love it if you give this video a like, and if you haven't done it yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn your notifications on. Now, before we end this video, I also want to tell you about this other recipe that I've made and also shared previously in this channel. It's my slow cooker chicken soup recipe. I've made this for my family and also my friends who have been unwell or who have given birth, and they've all had really good feedback. So I'm going to share it with you, and I'm going to tag it right over there. Make sure as soon as this video ends, make sure you click on it so that you can get another recipe that you can try in your Instant Pot this week. Alright guys, I look forward to seeing you with a brand new video next Wednesday. Until then, bye bye!